and welcome to the Schlick Show. I'm your host, Noah Schlicksup. I got a great show ready for you guys today. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. First up, former Bowl School quarterback, Alabama quarterback, and friend of this channel, Mac Jones, just got named the Patriots starting quarterback on Tuesday. They released Cam Newton and named him the starter later that day. And it's actually funny because when I interviewed him last November, he said this. If you compared yourself to an NFL quarterback, who would it be?
It's another good question. I would like to say Tom Brady, just like his approach to the game and how he plays. And, you know, we're not going to make a lot of plays with our feet. We're just kind of sitting back there in the pocket and throwing the ball. I like to watch like Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, all those guys. Patrick Mahomes. So I really just watch. I don't have like a biggest one I would compare. I mean, I guess Tom Brady would be my ideal one, but I got a long way to go to get on his level.
And we all know what happened after that. Went on to win a national championship with the Crimson Tide, have one of the best seasons of a quarterback in college football history. Get drafted 15th overall by Bill Belichick and the Patriots, the same team that Tom Brady became Tom Brady on. And now he's the starting quarterback. He'll start week 1 against Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins, the same quarterback he was the backup for and replaced when Tua got hurt in 2019. It's going to be so fun to watch. Congratulations, Mac, if you're watching this. And let's get right into our next segment, the Cat's Corner. So this one kind of has me scrambling a little bit because I was set to interview one of the Jaguars players, but unfortunately that had to be pushed back. So hopefully we can get that to you sometime in the near future. But for now, the Jaguars made their roster cuts, got it all finalized, and I went through each position group and graded each one. And let's start off at quarterback. For the quarterback position, they got Trevor Lawrence and their backup CJ Beathard. Go Hawks. And I gave this group a B-. We all know what kind of a prospect Trevor Lawrence is. He's the quarterback prospect of the decade. And he's been hyped up since high school. And he had a solid preseason, especially that last game against Dallas. But overall, you can't really grade a rookie quarterback based on their college career. And for most of them, I'd give them a solid C just to start. C+, but Trevor Lawrence, I'm giving him an exception. B-, and he's got a good backup in Beathard too, who was drafted in the 5th round, I believe, by the 49ers, and made some starts for them, and is probably, top 10 backup in the league. He's had a great preseason for the Jags this year, throwing some touchdown passes against the Saints, Browns, and Cowboys, and overall really deserves this QB2 job. It's going to be, solid backup there for Trevor. I know with Trevor Lawrence, this quarterback room grade is only going to go up, hopefully. But for now, I'm starting him off with a B-. On now to the running back room. And it took a hit with Travis Etienne being hurt against the Saints. He's out for the season, unfortunately, which with him, this running back room probably would have gotten an AA+, possibly. But for now, I'm giving him an A-. James Robinson, he was the best rookie back, in my opinion, last season, a 1,000-yard rusher as an undrafted rookie. And he's looking for a nice, solid, taking an even bigger step would be huge this sophomore season, make him one of the best backs in the league if he could do that. But for now, I'm giving this running back room an A-. Carlos Hyde, a solid 3rd down back. He's had success with multiple teams, nice veteran presence there. And then Dare Agumbawale, I know I pronounced Agumbawale right, Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame Hawkeye fan here, but anyways, it's not the point. First name I'm not sure about though. But good solid running back room, I'm giving him an A-. Now on to the wide receivers, and this kind of surprised some people, especially me, with some of the cuts they made. I thought they were going to have a fantastic room with Colin Johnson, Philip Dorsett as solid, 4th, 5th string options behind, of course, Shenault, Jones, Chark. But no, they cut those two, and I wasn't a huge fan of those cuts, especially, either one of them. I'd be fine if maybe just cutting one of them. But, Colin Johnson, he there's a solid chance he goes out balls somewhere. That's just my balls out somewhere. Sorry. That's just my opinion, though. But they kept Jamal Agnew, Tavon Austin, but it doesn't really matter. These top 3 are what I'm focusing on. And it's DJ Shark, Marvin Jones, and Laviska Shenault. Now, these are all guys who are they could have a boom or bust season. I love Marvin Jones. That was a great free agent signing because he's consistent, always been a really solid receiver, and great veteran presence in this young receiver room. And hopefully, Shenault can take that next step this season, especially with an elite quarterback talent like Trevor Lawrence taking the snaps. So it all depends, but for now, I'm giving him a B+. Let's head on to tight end. Their top 2 tight ends are James O'Shaughnessy and Chris Manhertz. D. O-line, I'm giving a C-. We got some talent here. Brandon Linder, Andrew Norwell. If they can stay healthy, great anchors for this young O-line with upside. Now, the guy I'm going to be watching the most on this O-line this year, if he plays, is Walker Little. 6'7", 309, and from what I heard, was just dominant in preseason. He's eventually going to take over for Cam Robinson, it's looking like, and a few other guys who are just having prove-it type years on this O-line who really need to step it up if they're going to keep their careers going as starting O-linemen, and especially with the Jags, is Cam Robinson, Jawan Taylor. These guys really need to prove something this year, and I'm hoping they do, because with a rookie quarterback under center, you want some guys who are going to protect him. But for now, I'm giving them a C-. And let's move on to the defensive side of the ball, starting with D-line. D-line is getting a C- from me. Now, this pass rush is going to be one of the more interesting things and telling things about the Jaguars this year. For the Jags to have success, these guys are going to need to put some pressure on the quarterback. Joe Coleman is a guy who really loves sending the blitz. He's going to all-out blitz, they're saying. And in the preseason, he's going to send that quite often. But the only problem is they don't have guys who are going to consistently put pressure on the quarterback and get sacks, who have proven themselves at least outside of Josh Allen. And he needs some help on that defensive line. And 2 guys who really need to step up this season are K'Lavon Chaisson and Jahid Ward, in my opinion. Now, Jahid Ward coming in new this preseason, and he impressed a lot of people. Now, I really loved his sack against the Saints, especially with Chaisson creating that hole for him to sneak in there. But those 2 are going to have real good seasons for this D-line to do what Urban Meyer and this Jaguars coaching staff wants them to do. So pay attention to those guys up front. A few other guys to watch this year, Malcolm Brown, Roy Robertson Harris are 2 guys who had potential to get a few sacks, put some pressure on the quarterback, and, make sort of a name for themselves up front. There's not much depth. So really, behind Josh Allen, you can make a run for that job. Jordan Smith, I'm hoping we can get to have some playing time this year. The 5th round selection last April. So it's an interesting D-line, and we're hoping a couple guys steps up behind Josh Allen. Now on to linebackers, and they're getting a B- from me, and Miles Jack is the only reason why. He's one of the best at what he does at the linebacker position. But after that, someone's going to have to step up. And this is something we're saying a lot with the Jags this year, but it's just the case. You got Damien Wilson, who coming over from Dallas, fits this. He's a scheme fit for Urban Meyer and this run protection type defense, pass rush. He's a scheme fit, but he's going to need to step up, play well for the Jaguars this season. I'm hoping we could see Shaquille Quarterman also do that for the Jags, because he's a guy, Jacksonville native. We're all rooting for him. And if he can show up, that would be huge for this Jaguars defense. But this linebacker room is getting a B- from me. Now on to the CB cornerback position, and another B- coming out from the secondary here. I don't think they're necessarily as bad as they looked in preseason. I'm hoping that Tyson Campbell is a little better than he looked, but so far that draft pick's looking like a bust. But at the top of the lineup there, I really like what we got. I mean, Shaquille Griffin is great to have in that secondary. He's going to perform really well and be fun to watch. Not a huge fan of that Sidney Jones to the Seahawks trade, however, because I feel like that really weakens the secondary and also puts a lot more pressure on C.J. Henderson to come up and perform this year, which I don't really think he needs added pressure right now. But he's going to have to step up because he's playing a much bigger role this season, probably in that CB2 area. After that, you got Trey Herndon, solid corner. And then, well, Tyson Campbell. jumping into the safety position, this is a position that I think could have the most improved grade by the end of the season. I'm definitely going to do this at the end. This is fun. But I'm starting off with the rookie Cisco, who really stood out in preseason, made some great plays, looked good in training camp, and has the potential to do some good things with the Jaguars. And after that, you got Raeshawn Jenkins, who has showed flashes of being a real solid safety in the past and could do some good things in the Jaguars secondary. He's going to have to step up this year, perform real well. This safety room could be key to this secondary this year, considering they have guys who, if they play up to their potential, I mean, it will really help this defense out. In the preseason, though, this secondary did not look good. After Raeshawn Jenkins, you got a few guys, Rudy Ford, Daniel Thomas could see some playing time, and then the fan favorite, not Andrew Wingard. For this safety room, I'm going to give him a C to start out. Now on to kicker, and Josh Lambeau's a guy who, going into last year, I would have given the A+. But with the injury struggles last year and not solid preseason performance, I'm giving him an A-. Ooh, that's terrible. But I believe he's tied for the best grade positional group on the team. Kicker's a solid position for the Jaguars. They're not going to have to worry about unless they get rid of Josh Lambeau. Obviously, best kicker in Jacksonville history. I mean, Josh Lambeau, love to have him. You can feel confident sending him out there to kick 57-yarder or really anything. He's automatic almost. And then I'm just going to hop right into punter here. I'm giving him a B. I don't really pay attention to punting too much and judging by scale. But Logan Cook is a solid punter. I'll give him a B. And that'll do it for our positional grading, for my positional gradings. Now on to the Jacksonville Athlete of the Episode. And high school football kicked back up here this past week. And week 1, the guy who really stood out to me from Clay High School is wide receiver and corner Damien Frazier. Hauled in 118 yards receiving, 2 receiving touchdowns, and a pick in one game. That's doing it 2 ways. And he made a huge impact. In the end, he scored as many times as the Fleming offense did. And him and Clay ended up topping the Golden Eagles by a score of 21-14 in that game. Starting them off 1-0, Damien Frazier getting this week's Athlete of the Episode. And that will do it for today's episode of the Schlick Show. Now you guys are used to seeing some interviews. Overall fun episode. And if you guys agree, be sure to smash that like button and be sure to subscribe. Hoping to get to 300 here pretty soon. That's going to be exciting. But for now, I'm signing off. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.